But yeah, well, welcome everybody as we contemplate dangerous situations in D&D. Um, Oftentimes brought about by the players themselves.
Very true.
But anyway, if everybody's ready and in roll 20, we'll go ahead and get started.
Yes, sir.
Last time on Simply Another Band of Curiously Odd Travelers, our party was embroiled in an extraplanar fight with creatures from the mechanical plane of law known as Mechanus. Deep in the arcane nexus, the highest most point of the inscrutable tower, where they were charged with resecuring the arcane heart of this tower, if you will. After an intense bout with these creatures, the party was able to bring to heel this unruly machine that bound the arcane energies at the apex of this tower. Not before a strange message was given to Tim in regards to a perhaps long forgotten deal in regards to a past life. A life when he was among the more organic persuasion than he is now. Nevertheless, the party took the moment to rest as the briefly reanimated remains of the former archmage of the city, Adriana Mordera, lay crumbling on the cold stone floor of the arcane nexus. Beside her, as she wasted away to nothing, the beautiful yet ominous, inscrutable staff, one of the seals of Drakenheim that you also came to acquire. Shortly thereafter, you were contacted by Eldrick Runeweaver upon noticing that the inscrutable tower, the chaos that embroiled the outer portions of this massive obelisk in the city, had all but calmed, and the portion held aloft by magic in defiance of gravity seemed utterly still for at least a moment in time. He arrived alongside River, but not in their normal forms, having polymorphed themselves into giant eagles to whisk you back to safer regions of the city, back to the barracks of the Hooded Lanterns, where you all took your time to rest, recuperate, have the apothecaries remove the contamination that some of you suffered within the tower. And the next morning, an intense discussion was to be had, among other things. Georgio, you were given more information about the amulet that you discovered in the space below the Arcane Nexus, the former offices of the Archmage. This amulet turned out to be a personal heirloom, but not one that was property of the Academy, but just a personal heirloom of the former Archmage. Turned out to be an amulet of health, a powerful magical item briefly used by the former Archmage. In addition, Eldrick discussed with you, Tim, the thoughts of the Academy Directorate, the ruling body of the Amethyst Academy, the small but extremely powerful group of archmages that ran the Academy across the entire continent, if not the entire world, from various locations that even most of the Academy higher-ranking members don't even know of, but maybe a few here and there, but only the Directorate itself knows all its members. They are known only to be as powerful as they are mysterious. But nevertheless, he was contacted by a member representing the Directorate, stating that the inscrutable staff was to be taken into their possession. Yourself, as well as the party, didn't quite agree with that.
No.
But
Get fricked.
Eldrick warned against dire circumstances if you were unable to withstand the force of the staff, and agreed to allow you to attempt it. And gave you some time to contemplate this decision, which you and your companions stepped outside the safety of the barracks to attempt to attune to this item. Barely able to do so with the help of your companions. You were successful, after which Eldrick arrived, seemingly stating that this ultimately was likely the challenge itself. The test itself was simply attuning to such a powerful item that would otherwise most likely kill the lesser mage in an instant, just given its raw power. But now, in the waning hours of the evening, you all have returned back to the barracks of the Hooded Lanterns. Tim, not looking so great right now after the ordeal. Likely needing a bit of medical attention. The rest of you, with much to contemplate with the days to come. Having recently lost in the past week or so several of the seals of the city, all in an instant, under duress of imminent explosion, let's call it, at the Cathedral of St. Vitruvio. In addition, you all fear that other parties and interested entities within the city are growing restless given the situation that occurred at the cathedral. What will come of this, only time will tell. But as the sun begins to set on this day after yet another intense ordeal has transpired, what are you all doing?
I'm sitting at the bar with a drink, a well-deserved drink, for sure.
There's not much of a bar in the mess hall that you find, but nevertheless, they do bring you what little ale they have to offer within the confines. And you can tell that in this hour, this time of day, the mood is relatively blissful. That people are in high spirits. You've also noticed that after the previous day, the Academy has wasted no time. You've seen now more individuals in purplish octarine robes than you've seen in the past 6 to 8 months combined. All coming and going from further south, perhaps, simply appearing out of nowhere at times, before vanishing once again after briefly speaking, more often than not, with Eldrick. As for the rest of you, what are you doing in this waning hour of the evening?
I think that after deliberating on the amulet, that Georgio would like to change one of his attunements. So,
okay.
I have a ring of protection that gives me 1 AC, and I would like to unattune from that. I do not know how that works. For this
it basically the same way. It just takes an hour or two of heavy focus and time to attune to this new item. So, given your time with it and your recognition of what it is now, based on Eldrick's information, simple enough. You can swap the two out.
Okay.
and discuss with your party what you would like to do with the other items.
So I'll bring up the ring the next time we're all together, because I can't use it. I can only be attuned to 3, so it's just flat +1 AC if anybody else wants it.
Well, +1 AC and +1 to all your saving throws.
That's true. Yeah, I forgot about the saving throws.
I'm probably the last person to need that to be.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, let me see.
It's a 2-minute slot. I don't know if you have one.
Yeah, I mean, if Cedric, if you have a spot, I mean, maybe you want it because I'm at 19, Chugrulk's 20, Georgio's at 8. So
I'll be at 17, which is a little bit of a bummer, but it's an extra 40 health. And this ambulance, an extra 40 health. It's like, okay, yeah, sure.
Yeah.
I think that matched out in my favor.
Yeah.
Right.
I'm good. I'll take it if nobody else I'll be the last one to take it.
Yeah, I mean, I have an extra 2-min spot, and I wouldn't mind bumping up to 19 AC.
Yeah. Plus that -2 intelligence saving throw doesn't look nice. I wouldn't want that.
No, you're telling me.
Yeah. help a little bit, you know.
Yeah, I would not mind for the Ring of
Protection.
Ring of Protection.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
Treat it well.
You betcha.
With a much-needed respite, you all are able to discuss among yourselves what bounties you have acquired over your time together here in the city, as well as contemplate your time together here in the city, recalling the ups and downs and perhaps what is to come. Even from this vantage point on the northwestern side of the city of Drakenheim, you can see that there are growing intense lights around the cathedral, as well as the southern gate, where you all had gone through an intense battle alongside the Silver Order, as well as members of the Hooded Lanterns. Now unsure of those tentative alliances, given the altercation that took place. And as you stand among the parapet walls of the barracks, you can even see softer lights closer to the crater. Giorgio, based on your positioning and your understanding of the city, you're fairly certain that this is likely Saint Helena's Abbey.
Okay.
During which time, during your past experiences and stint in the city before leaving during the what inevitably became the Westamar Civil War, you recall that this was previously a more often than not utilized as a mental institution, but also ran by the Church of the Sacred Flame. So also a secondary location for outside of the main cathedral and some of the other smaller churches and chapels that some of which you visited in and around the city of Drakenheim. But this one in particular was often utilized as a hospital and, as I stated earlier or later on in its life cycle, as a mental institution. But now it has become the primary spot for this sort of protesting sect of the Sacred Flame that has become known as the Church of the Falling Fire. A splinter group, if you will, of the Sacred Flame itself. Ran by the former Flamekeeper, Lucretia Matthias. Cedric, you are more familiar with this group, specifically Lucretia Matthias, a once prominent and well-respected member of the Church of the Sacred Flame. But you do recall in the 2 to 3 years past, around shortly thereafter of the time of the fall of the meteor, and then about midway through the Civil War in brewing in Westamar between secondary members of the royal family, that this individual had broken off and essentially been ousted by the church to the point where they're borderline deemed a heretic and a criminal by the church at this point, which you all bore witness to in their interaction in the Cathedral of St. Vitruvio.
We tell from here what exactly they're doing? Is it just like standard stuff, or does it seem strange?
In the St. Helena's Abbey?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, sorry, that's what I meant.
Go ahead and give me a perception check.
9 and my modifier, I think, is a 6. I'll check.
Jesus.
Is a 6, yeah. So 15.
You can't really make out much detail given the failing light, but you do see that they're, especially in contrast to the bright octarine glow of the crater itself and the deep haze in proximity around it, probably the deepest point, as it was the epicenter of the falling star as it struck the city, the main impact site in the city of Drakenheim. You can definitely see that there's movement about the courtyards as you stare down into just a small snippet of the courtyard. You can see that there are individuals grouping together in these courtyards, but to what end, it's hard to say. At this distance, you can just barely make out that there are a good number of individuals there.
Yeah.
Cedric and Chugrulk, what are you doing this evening?
I mean,
I thought I was still really hurt, but apparently I'm not. I was.
Yes.
Oh, we took a long rest before Tim did his things,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
This is
No.
the following
Yeah.
day from getting back.
I'm the only one that's fucked up.
Yes. Okay, I forgot about that.
With that being said, Tim,
Mhm.
go ahead and roll me 4d6, if you don't mind.
I do mind, actually.
Okay.
He's like,
It's like, actually, we didn't tell you have to do this every single day.
No.
right?
You heal
17.
for 22 hit points.
Oh, swell.
At least initially, and you are bandaged up in places, or rather patched up in places, as some of the apothecaries really don't know how to treat an automaton of your kind, as you are very few and far between, even fewer with the level of sentience that you have. But nevertheless, they are able to mend some of the broken components, mostly around your joints that are specifically leaking fluids of all kinds. And some of the
Nice.
broken circuitry is as patched together as they can do, given their very limited knowledge of the situation. But
You folks don't have soldering irons here?
we can certainly throw you in a bath of boiling oil, but generally that's not something that we're recommending for folks. It's we could have the blacksmith hammer on you if you'd like.
No. That's I appreciate.
I heard
this,
he's quite capable.
I'm sure he is. I mean, look at him. I see him. He looks very handy, but I'm okay.
As you are, then. I'd recommend perhaps just a bit of rest over the next few days. But yeah, you all can see that throughout the day and throughout the evening, you see a variety of these individuals who seemingly have robes representing the Amethyst Academy coming and going through this barracks. Oftentimes briefly chatting with either River or Eldrick or both of them before coming and going back and forth, disappearing into nothingness and occasionally returning before walking back towards what you would assume is a path back towards Emberwood Village, given the direction and proximity. But you're not 100% certain, but you can tell that they are... you just notice right away that there's an intense frequency given your stabilization of the tower now.
So, with us essentially taking the tower, or going through it, is there any groups that are, like, vying for it that we know of to, like, try to get back in there?
I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, I'm sorry. I thought it was the Academy. I thought they were taking it back. My mistake. I thought that's what it was.
From your understanding, Tim, your knowledge, more so than anyone else, you understand that the Inscrutable Tower, as well as some of the other past sites of the Sorcerer Kings, former strongholds of these powerful archmages throughout the continent, this being one of the oldest, that these sites are extremely valuable to those of Mageborn descent. But nevertheless, the items themselves and the knowledge contained within this stronghold is invaluable to those who can actually use it. Unfortunately, the certainty is that those without proper training or understanding of the arcane arts perhaps wouldn't even have the means to utilize some of the items contained within. But for those who do, the knowledge and resources within these strongholds is nigh invaluable. Chugrulk, what are you doing during this brief respite within the barracks?
Well, yes, as you guys, I was under the impression that I was hurt, but I'm 100% sure anything.
You're breaking up.
Oh. Wait, you got me now?
Yeah, I can hear you. You might have been a little far away from the mic, and it was just your words were breaking up.
No, it might have been. Well, oh, yeah, I see it now. No, I think.
Maybe Discord. Yeah, I can hear you.
Yeah,
it's just you keep breaking up.
Yeah. I'm seeing it now. That's what I'm concerned about. Keep an eye on it. Yeah, I don't think I want to do anything at this stage, like per se. I don't want to use anything but I think like I'm just gonna follow everybody else's lead at this stage. Being where I am, so I'm just gonna cool off.
Okay. Is there anything else anyone else would like to do, or are you all interested for the evening in just bunking down and continuing to recover after your ordeal? Or is there anything else you all would like to do in the immediate hour.
Did we ever split up all that platinum? How much was that worth?
I thought we did. I thought we went one of the last times we went to town. I thought we did something with it.
We might have. I genuinely don't remember. I'm looking at my currency, and how much was we had? Like 12 bars of platinum, right?
Yeah, let me check. I think I might have it still in my inventory. It just might have like made it a 0.
I'm wondering. I have 721 gold, but I don't know if that's
10 bars.
We had 10. And how much gold is that worth?
Each one is 1 pound, which is approximately 500 gold.
Yeah. So if we split that up, I think I should have more than 700.
Actually, yeah, I have the note. Stopper. So I wrote on here in pencil on here. It said Stopper says worth like 5k. If we split it up, it's like 1,250 to each of us.
Okay.
Yeah, we had 10 pounds of it.
Then I must have forgot to add it.
I mean, I don't know. I don't remember if we actually divvied it up. I mean, I have $2,000 in my inventory, but I know I had like a lot of money from the way earlier from like one of the first things we did.
The reason I'm asking is because I would be interested now that I've traded that ring out, possibly looking for some better armor or anything else that is non-magical.
Okay.
To assist with AC. I'm down to 17 AC, which I don't think is terrible, but
you've noticed in the past few days that Tobias Crow, the main blacksmith in Emberwood Village, has come and go through. You don't see him currently. The forge is cold at this time, but you are able to ask around pretty quickly and come to find out he will likely be back in the morning. If you're interested in, making a deal for any particular new armor or looking for something specific.
Yeah. If there's anyone around that I could basically leave the message that this one's seeking out in case he gets there in the morning and then could go somewhere and grab something or.
Sure.
But that would be the only other thing.
Yeah, just from the few discussions you've had with some of the soldiers here, as well as Elias, that they don't have much in the way of provisions of fancier. Most of it's very utilitarian for the most part. It's pretty sparse, but to find specialty items of that caliber would probably require special order and a bit of time to produce, but could certainly be done at the right price, given enough time. And then there's also, of course, discussions to be had, as you know, with Eldrick or River in regards to more of the arcane variety of items. Or specific spells, if that's what you're looking as well. You know that they can cast a variety of spells into scrolls, or provide provisions for potions as well, given your past experiences.
Only thing that I would want to do additionally is probably pick up some extra potions while we're here around the alchemist, if they have some to actually sell.
Okay. Yeah, you've seen, especially with the mages coming and going, you've seen various crates of supplies and things coming to and from the barracks. You spot River over to the south end of the barracks a bit later into the evening. If you were looking for something specific, she is certainly present and capable.
Yeah, just like general healing, more than anything.
Well, we have a variety of the typical potions. There are certainly, given your standing with the Academy and, of course, your recent assistances, we can certainly try to hold off. We can't discount anything based on the Edicts of Lumen. We have to sell everything at the same price, but we can certainly perhaps do a bulk discount if more items were bought than less in that regard. So there are means of bending that rule, of course, without breaking it. But typically the standard healing potions are 25 gold apiece, but if bought in units of 5, we could knock that down to 20 gold apiece. The greater healing potions are typically 75 gold apiece. Bought in groups of 5, we can bring that down to 70. And then, of course, if you're looking for something of greater surplus, they typically are 150 to 200 beyond that. Those, unfortunately, we cannot sell in bulk. They just take more time and more space among the caravans.
Yeah, I'll do the 5 greater for now.
Okay. So each one of those is 70 gold apiece. So for 5, okay. Yeah. And you know that River has a variety of other potions as well. If there's something specific you're looking for more of a unique use case or variety. She explains she has potions of flying, potions of haste, or potions of speed, basically, potions of haste, as well as invisibility potions. She can also cast a variety of spells into scrolls. Dependent on their level, they cost 50 gold per level of the casting. So basically, most anything that's on the wizard spell list that you might be looking for. So, a level 1 spell would be 50 gold, and then, just bump it up 50 per level from that point.
Mm-hmm. I think I'm good for now.
Okay. Anybody else for the time being, or are we... After a bit of exchange and some much-needed food and drink, some time to speak with soldiers on less tenuous and dangerous conversations, more about home and the potential of the future, and you can definitely tell there's a growing excitement that this is the most change these soldiers have seen in nearly a decade. That they've not seen anything like this in the city in quite some time, and it gives rise to hope, but a bit of reserved optimism after the years. They've seen a potential for change that has crumbled in front of them multiple times, but nevertheless, there is an air of optimism among the Hooded Lanterns as you all drink among them, celebrate a bit your conquest of the dangers of the inscrutable tower before taking your rest below ground, below the haze, for a much-needed long rest. So you are welcome to do that if you need it. The following morning, you all wake to the familiar sounds of soldiers preparing horses, carts, regiments either training or exchanging with those scouting the surrounding area in their evening shifts. You've become quite familiar with some of the what they call their urban rangers, these very adept individuals that stalk the rooftops of the city for better vantage points and utilizing those to their advantage. You've been escorted by several of them over the various times. They are well adept at traveling from roof to roof to avoid some of the more dangerous situations within the streets of the city. Rogue packs of ratlings, what were previously large packs of Garmir that have now become less and less frequent as either the Silver Order have gone about killing off these rogue packs of wild bipedal wolves, as well as other various creatures that still loom large deeper within the city, closer to the daunting Castle Draken on the horizon. You hear tell of the northeastern parts of the city still heavily infested with all manner of contaminated creatures, as well as former city defenses gone rogue since the fall of the meteor and the disappearance of the small council and the king of Drakenheim. Very few are brave enough to try to scale the walls for fear of creatures that loom on top. Nevertheless, the skies are a bit clearer now, having you all taken care of the harpy infestation that loomed within the clock tower, as now there's a fairly frequent progression between that position as well as the barracks of the Hooded Lanterns. But you still hear reports of individuals going missing in the northeast. Rumors of thieves and bandits on the eastern side of the city, as well as segments of the city still patrolled by several dangerous entities. One segment in general that you heard brief tellings of, known as Slaughterstone Square, the small open-air segment of the city, its namesake well known as it was the previous execution spot, as very few prisoners in Drakenheim and Westermar in general very few criminals were held prisoner. More often than not, capital punishment is alive and well in this region of the world. Georgio, you don't recall ever being in Slaughterstone Square as a child, your mother specifically telling you never to go there. But you heard rumors of a dangerous construct in that area. Oftentimes, those are the seed of these very same rumors you hear now. Unsure and, at this point, fairly unwilling to go near there and test that theory. But as the sun is beginning to rise on the horizon, you can see now that Tobias Crow has arrived, accompanied by a large cart. His two, one older son and a younger daughter accompanying him aboard. You can definitely tell that they are related, given the bright ginger hair matching his now salt and pepper and ginger beard, but still very obvious hair color, signifying that they are likely related. But if any of you all are interested in discussing business with him, he appears to be setting up and his younger son lighting the forge to begin work for the coming day.
Yeah, definitely go and see what he's got as far as protective items.
Hi, hello again. I see the city hasn't claimed you. That's good to see. It's good to see you and your companions. I see that armor isn't still in good shape. Good to see.
Yeah. I do need something better, though. I had to give up a ring that was helping keep me safe, and I no longer feel as secure as I used to. So,
well, let's see if we can figure something out. I don't have anything too unique with me right now at the moment, but given enough time and enough coin, I can certainly whip something up in the next day or two if you're willing to wait about a bit. Or if you have other business to attend to, you can certainly come and find me in the next time once I'm back at the main forge.
If it'll take you only a day or two, I can definitely wait. Even if we have stuff to do, I think that's fine. I was expecting a much longer...
Well, it depends upon the complexity of what you're looking for.
Yeah. So what do you have with you now?
At this moment, just basic chainmail, breastplate, nothing beyond the norm. Most of the hooded lanterns tend to run fairly light and less weighted down.
Mm-hmm.
Given their, running up them rooftops. Doesn't make much sense to be jingling and jangling up the walls.
That's fair. I don't need much for stealth, so I'm not worried about the jingling and jangling. So if you have a way to get to some of that in the next few days, that'd be great. I have a rare set of chainmail now, so it would like something better than that.
Right. What's your current armor that you're wearing?
Current armor is it's just chainmail +1.
Okay.
There's nothing special about it.
It's a fine suit, but yes, it's not exactly. Well, it can be better. Not my finest work, but we can certainly try to put something together for you.
Mm-hmm.
Are you looking for any special properties to it? Dependent on the time and the investment, I can certainly try to scrounge up something from the academy to bolster it a bit more if you're looking for something more fancy.
I don't know if Georgio would know what his options are. I don't particularly care. But what kind of things what kind of things do you think they have that you could find? Because I may be interested.
Well, I've seen recently that they've been of a mind to be infusing some of that purple stone into various alloys to not only protect but to augment the capabilities of the wearer. If you give me some time and enough coin, I can certainly see to making something extra special.
Yeah.
If you're willing to trust me.
Yeah. He's the one who did the hand axes that I use, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Then
he did the hand axes and the armor you're wearing.
Absolutely do.
Okay. All right.
So, yeah, you take your time, see what you can find, let me know, and chances are I'll be happy to have what you can get.
But their stone is doesn't come cheap, and neither does the metal that can sustain it.
Mm-hmm.
So if you're willing, I can do you a deal for 1,400 gold for a full set of some fine armor.
That sounds fantastic. I could do that.
Okay. He goes out to shake your hand. He's got this big open mitt. I mean, even in your hand, even though he's just a normal human, he still has like a paw for a hand.
Yeah.
Given his years of hammering steel, and still a strong shake, even with your stout frame.
Mm-hmm.
But with that, he'll go ahead and work on that for you. But it'll be 2 days' time to put together that.
And he's not augmenting what I have. I don't have to give him my chain.
No, he's gonna put something together from scratch.
Yeah. Okay. Fantastic. Then yeah, I definitely could wait.
Is there a cat in the microphone? I think it's
I don't know
think
if you
it's
can hear it.
Spudley's cat.
My cat.
Oh,
no, it's
gotcha.
mine. He's
Oh.
just showed up and he was like, hey, I want.
He's chilling.
He's big chilling.
He's big fat.
Chonk.
He's the best.
He's chonk.
But yeah, I didn't realize you could hear him.
Yeah, I was just like,
purring right
who is
into the mic,
purring
sorry.
right into the mic? No, you're good. I just thought it was funny.
Oh,
I was
that
like,
armor.
Yeah, George is over here purring in the background.
Yeah.
But yeah, in 2 days' time, he'll have it ready for you. As for the rest of you, Cedric, Tim, is there anything you're looking to acquire this morning, either from the various members of the Academy that are coming and going, or from Tobias?
I don't think so. I think because my armor's already got a +2 on it, so I think I'm pretty tapped on that. So I'm good. I'm good with what I got. I'm right.
Okay. It's a pretty typical morning for the most part as you wander about the barracks, discussing amongst yourselves. Oh, Spudley, is there anything that you're looking for from Tobias Crow, the blacksmith, while you're here?
The blacksmith? No, I think like I was gonna say, I'm pretty much content with what I'm sitting with. I was just gonna ask just for my, not to like just as a side question, just so I know I'm on the right page. Have I got the right amount of money in my inventory? Just if I was gonna buy something.
Did you add the 1,250 from the platinum?
Well, because I'm like that's where I'm not sure. Because when did we get that?
You got that when you were in the catacombs of the church.
Would I have any? How much more money than that should I have? Like just roughly. I've only got 1,400 in my.
I'm not certain. I don't know.
I just. Was
I
trying to
think
like.
I think 1,400 probably sounds
Have you
Probably
bought
sounds right.
anything? Have you
No.
bought any items at all?
No.
Not since your armor that you have now, your adamantine plate.
Oh, did I buy that? Yeah, I did.
Yeah, then you probably did. The reason I brought it up earlier is because I had 700 in my inventory. And it's like I was pretty sure the platinum is worth more than that. So it's like I don't think I bought all of the magic items I had were given to me. So
No. I just thought it was worth asking. Just while we had like that in mind. Because I think if I'm only at 1,400, or not, but like if I'm at 1,400, I think I don't think I need anything like that's. Like I'm looking at my items and I feel pretty. Unless there's something I'm missing, and I'm not like unless there's like I'm not sure like how this works. Again, I'm new to this in general. I've got like is that like a helmet, chest plate? Like is that like I'm like
It's a full set of armor. Yeah.
Yeah.
I would say it's everything except for maybe a helmet.
Okay. I just wasn't sure if there was like in there. I've got this.
There's not separate pieces really in D&D unless it's specific to it.
A whole thing.
Yeah, it's pretty simplified for that reason.
No, that's cool. I just thought I'd. Yeah. If I wasn't like gonna go, like I'll flush out my and be like.
You're still breaking up.
Oh, fuck. This is weird.
I think your noise gate's too high, and it keeps breaking in.
No, it's got to be something else because my Go XLR fucked up this morning. I assume it's just something to do with that.
Yeah, it sounds like your noise gate's cutting in and out. Is what it sounds like to me.
You can, I don't know. I was gonna say maybe you should hard unplug your mixer. Maybe unplug it, let it do its thing, let it chill for a little bit, and then turn it back on. Like maybe like 30 seconds.
Yeah.
It might be in Discord as well, because Discord has its own audio shit that you sometimes have to turn down. I've had that problem in the past.
Yeah, I mean, I just turned up my gate anyway. Anyway, I'm good though.
Okay.
I'm good.
For most of the morning, it's relatively tame as you all take your time to discuss with the various individuals coming and going through the barracks, it's not until about midday that you begin to hear a commotion coming from further into the center of the city. A bit uncertain what it is at first, as there are often strange noises from deeper within the city of Drakenheim. At this point, you've come accustomed to being surprised by what the city has hidden within it. But you begin to see that there's a pattern to this noise as you hear a thundering collection of sounds followed by a crumbling of larger structures, and then later on you begin to hear a shouting coming from deep within the city. Uncertain of what's going on. In fact, let me go ahead and pull up the map for you all, and I'll explain further that way. At the moment, you all are typically, or you're at the barracks here at number 9. You're beginning to hear the sounds coming from deeper in the city, about here. Not too far north of Market Square, but a bit south of Queen's Park Garden, south of the deep haze that you had ventured into. You hear a commotion, and as you begin to recognize that this is a bit out of the norm, you all ascend to the upper portions, the parapet walls of the surrounding portion of the barracks, where you're able to look upon this region with a bit of a higher vantage point, accompanied by several of the rangers of the Hooded Lanterns. And from this distance, you can begin to see that there are fires beginning to form in this space. Patterns of fires beginning to form on buildings. And as you focus further and further on this location, you hear the thunderous sound just again, but now you begin to understand that it's the footfalls, or rather the hoof falls of horses. What do you all do?
We're fully healed up, right? We did a long rest with
Yep.
everything, right? I just want to make sure. Let me do
Yeah,
that.
you had a long rest.
Okay.
Yeah, it's midday now, or a little before midday. It's a sort of foggy day this morning. It's not drizzling or raining, but this is about the closest you're getting to a sunny day here in Drakenheim. But without the sun, it's even more evident that large bursts of flame are beginning to ignite on rooftops in this region.
Does this seem like a similar pattern that we would be familiar with the followers of the Falling Fire?
Cedric, go ahead and give me a... Ooh. Give me a religion or a history check.
Ooh.
If anyone else asked this question, I wouldn't give them the opportunity, but for you, I'll allow it.
13.
For the 13... History or religion?
That was religion.
Religion? It's been some time since you've seen this fervor, this method. To the untrained eye, having never seen something like this, it would seem like some other form of chaos. But to you, you recognize this. You've felt those flames before. As you stare long and hard at this location, you remember standing amongst those types of flames when you were much younger. These man-made flames. These holy flames. What do you do?
And it seems like it's all coming towards where we are right now in the Abbey.
You see that it's on the north side of the market square at this location. And you see that it's moving westward along along one of the main streets.
Got it. So westward towards us. It seems like that they're just...
Yes, between the market square and Queen's Park Garden, just on the southern edge where you see the deep haze surrounding the gardens. You see these flames beginning to alight on the rooftops and surround these townhomes and former residential districts just being consumed by fire.
Is there a higher up of the Amethyst Academy around us right now?
A higher ranking individual, a mage?
Yeah.
You can see that Eldrick is down below, and then River is off discussing with some individuals just outside the opposite edge, on the southern edge. From this vantage point, you can see both of them.
Okay. I'm going to go ahead and actually talk to them real quick about the sites and just tell them that, to my understanding, those flames are from the Fallen Flame with their intention of burning down encampments in hopes to gain further access to the different seals of Drakenheim, including the inscrutable staff, which they have probably found out about, that it has been taken from the tower.
You mentioned you mean the Falling Fire or the Sacred Flame?
Falling Fire. Sorry, did I say Sacred Flame?
You said the Falling Fire, but you're talking to Eldrick?
Yeah.
I saw that, and I heard the commotion coming from over there, but the Falling Fire doesn't generally go in that direction. They tend to stay in the southern portions of the city. It's perhaps the only time I've seen them outside of the Abbey is briefly further south into Emberwood Village, or, of course, when we met with Miss Lucretia Matthias in the church. I don't think that's who we're dealing with here. And they're a bit more covert in their nature. No, perhaps we should have a look. You have decent eyes, son.
Decent enough.
Not enough? And you watch as he grabs his staff and just taps it a few times as you hear these verbal sequences pour out from his lips. And much like the transformation that you saw previously, as he kind of deforms and moves in this instant, before a few seconds later you find yourself standing before the form of a giant eagle. as it kind of bows its head as if to give access to you to climb aboard.
Sure.
Just as you find yourself seated, you feel the gusts of wind below as this creature rises up into the air, high into the upper portions of the city, kind of soaring around in a counterclockwise formation in circles as he goes a little closer and a little closer to, without getting too close to this commotion. Go ahead and give me another perception check, if you don't mind.
23.
Yeah, natural 20 on that one. From this vantage point, without failure now, you understand what you're looking at as the memories of your childhood come into their own once more. As you see heavily armored knights on horseback, accompanied by robed priests and various guards and infantry, combing through portions of the city, carrying these lance-like devices, the tips of which spew lines of flame like a razor's edge that just cover even these soaked sections of the city, often rainfall, waterlogging these old abandoned buildings, still alight like dry tinder to this spray of fire all over, and memories of the past well up in your mind as you remember these devices, these fire lances, as they burn down your home. A sense of anger wells up that you quickly squash in your heart before you feel the eagle turn before getting too much closer. Given the proximity, fairly certain that you are both now able to see what lies below. As you return to the courtyard of the barracks, and Eldrick lets you step down before releasing the spell, returning to his normal human form.
Well, that was unexpected. I didn't expect them to go full scorched earth quite so quickly, but nevertheless, they did warn that was their inevitable intent. But perhaps the arrival of Lucretia Matthias, as well as the recent activity with the Queen of Thieves in the cathedral, and the taking of holy relics spurred them on sooner rather than later. Excuse me, I need to go discuss this with the proper individuals. But I don't know what will come. It doesn't appear like they seem to be stopping.
And you watch as he steps away, and he seems to be heading towards the main officer's tower, where you all had been in discussions with Elias in the past. But with this knowledge, what do you do?
He's already pretty much left and gone to discuss whatever with whomever at this point, it seems like, right?
Yeah, Eldrick has stepped away. You got the hint that he really didn't want to get involved in this situation. You've got a general understanding, based on the interactions you've had with the Amethyst Academy, that they don't generally like to be involved with members of the Church of the Sacred Flame, specifically the Silver Order Knights.
Mm-hmm.
And given your past experiences among the clergy growing up, you get a general sense that the Church of the Sacred Flame and the Amethyst Academy have long-standing bad blood between the two of them. For a number of reasons.
Yeah. And to my knowledge, that's kind of what their, it seems the Sacred Flame's intentions are, or the Silver Order, is just kind of do a complete raise of the town and just burn it to the ground and start from scratch.
Based on your discussions you had with Theodore Marshall in the Cathedral of St. Vitruvio, you get the understanding once that they've secured certain sites within the city, their final intent is a scorched earth policy. You remember him describing the meteor and the delirium as a tumor that needed to be excised. By any means necessary.
I'll wait to see if anything comes of their meeting for now and just kind of keep it under wraps as far as like what it is, since I think everyone can kind of see it.
Georgio, Tim, Chugrulk, as you observe this commotion from a distance, what have you been doing? Or what do you intend to do?
I think Georgio wants to would stay out of it as much as possible. Like even like if we're even remotely close, like even moving away.
You can see even at this distance that the fires are beginning to move westward. Slowly, but you can hear a commotion from various members of the Hooded Lanterns. And after you see your companion and Eldrick arrive back in the courtyard, it's not too long after Eldrick is seen leaving towards the commander's tower that you watch Elias begin coming out in a, not so much an angered movement, but in a very assertive, intentful direction towards the parapet walls, climbing up to get a better vantage point of this so-called commotion. As he calls for a looking glass, and begins peering out into the distance towards the site of this growing flame. I warned those damn knights. This is not Illyria. They are on sovereign ground. They can claim whatever danger they want, but it's not
here in our city. At this point, he raises his hand and calls for various troops to begin gathering and starting formations. Before turning to you all, now I understand you all don't have many ties to this city, other than perhaps you, Georgio. But I would hope you still feel that there's some attachment to this place as your former home. If the city burns to the ground, everything we've done to this point in time, all the lives lost to secure this place once more and bring about a return of its former glory would be for naught. And we'd be under the thumb and boot of a foreign power. And you watch as he motions for a number of the hooded lanterns surrounding him to attend to other matters as he steps closer to you all, specifically you, Georgio.
Mhm.
I'll ask you now, Georgio. Although we're uncertain of 100% where your lineages may lie, but if I were a betting man, I'd say that you have a right to this city. An obligation, no. But if you so choose, you could certainly take up that mantle. I know it's a steep ask. But a lot stands to be lost here for the people of this country. This city burns.
What exactly are you asking me to do then?
We need to stop this in its tracks now. I'll have you escorted in secret with our finest rooftop snipers, and if these knights intend to try to raise this city, I'd like you to try to negotiate or convince them otherwise.
I don't know if I can convince him otherwise, because I don't think I'm convinced myself.
Given what that person said, you know which one I mean, in the cathedral. They took those phylacteries for a reason. They took those documents for a reason.
Mm-hmm.
Although we're not certain of your lineage or theirs, again, given the circumstances and all the evidence presented, I feel confident that this city is likely to come to heel to one of you all. I'd rather that be a more honorable individual like yourself. I understand you have a grudge with that person, whom, wherever they are. But if this city burns, the likelihood that they're here to stay will be minimal. I can't ask you to help us, but
I don't think I would help if you asked. I think I'll turn to walk away at that point.
I understand. You watch as he calls out to the soldiers below, and you're watching them begin to create formations as various units are sent out of the barracks towards the commotion. Tim and Chugrulk and Cedric, what are you all doing while this is going on?
That's a good question. I'm off, like, just getting acclimated to using the staff now that I'm attuned to it. Like, I'm practicing being able to make sure I can use it right and stuff like that. Like, I'm getting used to being able to use a staff instead of like a wand that I've been using. I'm like in the courtyard, I guess that's probably the best way I could put it.
Cedric, Chugrulk, what are you doing?
I guess I'm gonna try and be passive. I don't.
Pardon me?
I feel like. Oh my
You
God.
guys try that again.
Yeah. I'm just gonna be trying to be pretty passive, not trying to engage in too many people. Just trying to keep to myself, I guess. In the courtyard, I guess, with Tim.
Okay. Cedric?
I'm sorry, I was outside for a little bit. So I miss exactly who Georgio was talking to in that exchange.
He was talking to Elias.
Elias is trying to convince me to help because, trying to convince me that I'm sort of responsible, not exactly, but kind of, and so I should care about it.
A guilt tripper, man.
Yeah.
I was trying to guilt trip.
Not responsible for what's happening, but responsible for the condition of the city, right?
You didn't really get a responsibility, but just asking
Yeah.
If you would
not quite responsibility
assume,
is what I mean. Yeah.
perhaps assume a greater role in this city's future, is the gist of what you understand with your passive insight and understanding of the situation.
Yeah, like to take it up as my responsibility, not that I have the responsibility for it. Is that am I understanding that right?
Right. There's no like you don't have to do this, but
Yeah.
there are only a select few who can.
It'd be awful kind of you.
Okay. Hmm. I mean, I would want to go after it, and just do something, but I probably wouldn't want to do it alone, even with the help of rooftop snipers or whatever you were calling them to go ahead and assist with taking out taking everyone out in the Silver Order as we were trying to stop everything.
What
So I'm
you
probably
understanding was violence wasn't the first step, but inevitably it appears that the soldiers are raising the city.
Yeah, clearly
Districts.
just with
And as you all are contemplating this, you can see another group of fires is beginning to form. Further south of the cathedral in Temple Ward, all around, you see one further south, about where it says Temple Ward there. And then you see another further north, now much closer to where you are. So now 3 separate groupings of these flames are beginning to form as large groupings of soldiers are gathering out from segments of the city, or from the Champion's Way, and the Champion's Way, but the Temple Gate and the Cathedral of St. Vitruvio towards the center part of the city, setting fire to large swaths, neighborhoods of the city.
and it seems very non-discriminate from what we can see. It's just they're just taking blocks and just burning them to the ground, more or less.
You understand this more intimately now, Cedric. Even this faintest amount of delirium found in your home was caused to raise the entire village. Indiscriminate, holy fire.
Does it seem like people are like mobilizing around us for any sort of
You see that the hooded lanterns are beginning to form regiments and spread out in those directions. You're uncertain how many are in these areas, how many knights, and you're uncertain of how many soldiers that the hooded lanterns can spare. From what you can see, probably less than 75 hooded lanterns are spread about in various directions. But given your experiences at the Battle of Temple Gate, there are probably hundreds of Silver Order Knights
Cool.
in total between the various encampments. A good deal perished in the battle, but you still saw a good deal remain after the conflict.
Yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and talk to Giorgio at the very least here.
Mhm.
And basically say, I understand it's not your responsibility to stop everything that's happening, but at the very least, with your possibility of moving on to some sort of kingship, I think that any sort of diplomacy that you could possibly do, whether it be low risk or high risk, and get your name out there to the different factions, is going to be beneficial. As I don't know what your wants and desires are if you do become king, but rebuilding the city would be really beneficial. And it's hard to rebuild something when you have to start completely from scratch, as opposed to working with the structures that you have currently.
I don't think look, if that man and I'll point at Elias Drexel, wherever I don't know if he's anywhere close still, but I'm sure we can still see him wherever he is. That man is the best that this city can produce to show that there's still good here. I just don't think that there is, and maybe they're right. And just let it burn to the ground, start something fresh is the only chance this place might even remotely have.
I guess if that's the best possible option, you feel that there's no possible alternatives as far as the place that you lived possibly seeing through, not to see it completely destroyed and rebuilt, and any sort of hope that there once was that the city could be saved.
Yeah. I'm losing faith every day is basically what's happening here, right? I'm losing faith every day. So maybe if this was happening when we first showed up, I would have been a little more eager to help, but not now. I just can't say that the Fallen Flame people are wrong here. I just can't. I don't know for certain. And so who am I to stop them? We don't even know. We don't even know if it's true. So who am I to stop them?
You all watch now as multiple bouts of fire beginning to burn through large neighborhoods in various points through the city. In the next hour or so, these paths of fire marching through various districts of the city grow as smoke rises into the air through what were once busy, bustling metropolitan streets, now empty of at least humanoid life for the most part, but nonetheless, memories of what was once a grand, bustling crown jewel of Westamar slowly begins to set fire like a tinder, or set fire throughout, heading in various directions.
You hear the shouts and cries of Elias leading his men to and from the barracks, as well as Ansem and Petra doing the same. That intensity of, or rather the blissful optimism you saw the night before, is being swiftly replaced by all-consuming anger and or fear from the younger soldiers. The older individuals showing intense contempt for this act of aggression against their home. It's now late into the afternoon and the sun is beginning to fall as the skies are growing darker and darker, not only with the falling of the sun, but the rise of smoke across the city. You've begun to hear cries of creatures, unhuman entities deeper within the city. And just as the sun is beginning to set, you see and hear the march of soldiers towards the edge of the barracks. Not accompanied by fire, but dimly lit by it. You see a singular knight on horseback, as well as a singular chaplain accompanying them. A young man, perhaps in his mid to late 20s, accompanying this heavily armored knight. No fire lance on his back, but simply a long sword and a beautiful silver shield with the crest of the sacred flame upon it. As he comes to the gates of the barracks, you see a number of the hooded lanterns draw arrows above from the parapet walls. As you all stand in the courtyards listening, you can see the tension growing on the walls. And as you look through the double-layered gates, the portcullis gates, you hear a booming voice cry out from the outside of the walls. We come to have a discussion with the Lord Commander, as well as issue an arrest warrant for those you harbor within.
Oh.
They better not be talking about us.
Might we speak? And you hear Elias from the parapet wall. Oh, we'll speak, all right. As he's accompanied by Ansem and Petra out the gates. You see Petra turn to you all for the first time since you rescued her in the sullied Rat's Nest Tavern. The jubilant eyes now looking back at you all with a bit of disdain before turning and heading out. Portcullis gates guarded by soldiers and archers above. You can't quite hear the words at this distance.
Is there a place where I can move that I can?
You can certainly do so. No one seems to be halting you. You can follow them out, or you can...
I don't think I'll go all the way out, but close enough where I can hear, I think. Unless it's impossible.
No, you walk out and you watch as some of the soldiers look to you. The general soldiers don't understand. They pay you no mind given your help to the city itself.
Mm-hmm.
Some of the higher ranking soldiers, a bit more understanding of the situation, a bit more focused on what you might say or do. And as you walk out a bit further, perhaps halfway through the two halves of the Portcullis Gate, past the first and just before the edge of the second, you can just begin to hear the words of the Silver Order Knight as he stands beside his steed.
I'll stop where I can hear. I don't want to go all the way out.
Lord Commander, this city is not worth saving. It is littered with corruption and pain and death that threatens to infect our entire world. But all that said, you still harbor an even greater corruption. Those who would kill in cold blood with trinkets. And those who have carried bounties on their heads for years. This is your opportunity. We can discuss the terms of the city's future, but only after you surrender those men to the Silver Order. They killed innocent good men. They desecrated a tomb and stole items belonging to the Church of the Sacred Flame. Killed them in cold blood.
You weren't there. You don't know.
One of them is a habitual man of ill intent. At this point in time, has a 12,000 gold bounty on his head.
I've heard enough. I'm gonna go back.
I recommend you halt, son.
He said, "Hold the fuck up, son."
Yeah.
Oh shit.
You can come with us. Well, my men will come storming in to get you. Your choice. Chugrulk, where are you right now?
I was trying to get back to him.
I believe I was still in the courtyard, if not, if we've not. No.
That there Caspian is an enemy of the state of Illyria. His bounty alone could do wonders for repairing this city. You can hand him over, or we can take him by force.
I have these little boots of speed on.
Okay.
I'm gonna click my heels together. I'm not doing anything else.
Nice, love it.
But I just need to have that. I just want that. I want that going. It gives. I think it's either 10 minutes or an hour. One of the two. Either way, I believe would be enough. 10 minutes.
10 minutes. Okay. You'll surrender those men, or we'll stop by raising this here stronghold.
The courtyard's inside, right?
Yeah, it's behind. There's like similar to the walls, just not as tall as the 80-foot perimeter walls of the city. They're about 40 or 45 feet high.
Uh-huh.
The interior walls of the barracks, kind of like an interior encampment wall, but they're of a similar structure that they have. The entrances are like portcullis. There's an interior gate and an exterior gate that's got like a 5-foot gap in between.
From where we are, how far away is the courtyard?
From where you're standing right now,
From me specifically, because I'm right at.
You could run back like 15 feet and you'd be inside the interior gate.
But specifically, but I'm thinking like to get to Chugrulk. How far away is Chugrulk from me?
To Chugrulk, probably 55, 60 feet.
Okay. I don't have anything immediately that I want to do. I'm thinking still, but I don't think I have that much time, so.
I'm a patient man. Our soldiers are resupplying currently. But before the middle of night, we will be at your doors. You can choose to meet us on your terms, or we can drag you out like the other creatures of this here city.
Do I know what else he wants to do to the city? Is it like, I mean, they've raised quite a bit throughout the day. Is it not enough? Is he attempting to? Is there more? I don't want to ask him, but like just from what I know of their.
Give me an insight check.
Here. Insight is, so that's gonna be 15 total.
15?
Yeah.
You get the understanding that although they definitely made the intention known that they intended to raise this city, this seems inflammatory more so than just the beginning of that. Like, this seems intentionally inflammatory.
Yeah.
To get the attention of someone or certain individuals.
Yeah. And from our understanding, we are the targets of the arrest because of what happened at the church.
Among other things.
Yeah, but yeah. I don't know how much I would know about the religion.
What specifically are you wanting to know?
What, how do they, so they want to arrest us, punish us for these crimes against the church, right? How do they handle forgiveness?
Give me a religion check.
This is going to be not good. Religion is 2, so an 8 total.
You're not 100% certain. You've heard in the past of prisoners within Illyria, but often a lot like Westamar, specifically criminals directly in defiance of the church. It's often corporal punishment.
Mm-hmm.
Yeesh.
So I guess specifically corporal punishment as the consequence of the action, but do they? Because like I know that like in real life, there are some religions that are like very strict on things. You do something wrong, like you got whatever, and then there's some that are very much like if you show repentance, no matter what, how bad it doesn't matter how bad it was, you're still okay, right?
Yeah.
So that's what I'm looking for, like where they fall on that scale with repentance specifically.
With that role, it's kind of, you're not really
wouldn't know.
certain.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You just know that you've heard of circumstances where they...
There are some bad things. That
Right,
happen.
but you've also
There's
heard
gonna
of
be
a
bad
lot
things.
that doesn't go well.
Yeah. Okay.
Specifically,
Yeah.
you would know
Murder
that
people in
the...
church.
Yeah, given your interactions with the academy
Not a
and
very good one.
mages and stuff like that, they
Mhm.
generally don't see kindly to mages in general.
Mhm.
You're not certain why. You can definitely tell there's a lot of history between those two parties. But in general, there's kind of this... There are individuals that are more forgiving and, you know, are more practice forgiveness in all aspects of life, but then there's more militaristic individuals like the ones you're dealing with now.
Yeah.
Much like many groups, there's two sides to the coin.
Yeah.
You're just uncertain how much of each you're going to deal with.
Yeah. I think, and I don't want to I don't know how it would go. I don't know how we could make it work out or whatever. But at this point, I feel like Georgio would go with them, and be like, I'm like, we were misled, whatever, you know, and then you guys are trying to burn the city down. I'm not going to stop you. Might even help.
Do you intend to follow the...
I don't know.
Okay.
But that's like, that's like what today happened is kind of pushing me to like, Giorgio might be acting rash in this moment, and just be like, like good try, Delius, today, you know, but look at what happened. Here I go, willingly with these other, you know, with the other people.
Do you say this to the
No,
knight?
no,
Okay.
No, this is in like internal. Like this is
Oh,
like
internal.
what I'm.
Yeah,
This
okay.
is what I am thinking.
Gotcha.
I'm just explaining to you kind of where I think Giorgio is leaning right now. But I think it still might be like a step too soon before that happens. However, I think we're in a tight spot. You know, I don't know if I can just walk away.
Well, you're internally trying to comprehend
Yeah.
this moment. Cedric, what are you thinking as you stand and watch this from a further distance in the courtyard? Your past now in the forefront of your mind, back and forth with the present.
Mm-hmm. So immediately he already gave an ultimatum of have until sundown or something of that nature to return.
Till the rise of the moon.
Okay.
So basically
So
midnight.
Oh,
Got it.
same night? Oh, yikes.
Yeah, tonight. He said either
Tonight.
we go with him now or he's coming in tonight and busting the doors down.
Yeah.
And so that's what I'm
Okay.
saying is like we don't have a lot of time to think about this. And if I just walk, if I continue to walk back inside because he's already specifically yelled at me to halt, then like that is only gonna tick him off.
Yeah.
No, I think you're good. So we have a lot of time. I am going to just wait and see if the theater marshal and everyone is doing about face to just kind of leave the city or leave the immediate entrance of the stronghold for now, so that we can have additional talk with Elias Drexel.
Tell your commanding officer we will respond in kind, is what you hear Elias say. Is that amenable to you all? I need to have a conversation with these young men and my soldiers. And you just watch him nod as he begins to put his foot inside the saddle and climb back on top of his horse. This heavily armored war horse that you've now seen multiple of. One way or another, we'll see you all at midnight. As you watch him turn about face and begin to...
Just to be clear, like, I heard he said outright, like, has he told me he's looking for me, or just told that, like, it was just said around the corner, like to Georgio?
I don't even know if you heard him.
So
Yeah,
you
that's
would
what
have
I'm
heard
trying
that
to
very
figure out.
clearly.
Okay.
He didn't specify you. Only people who know would know, I think, based on the words that he chose, right?
Right.
If that's what you're asking.
I don't know. I thought like he just like because he said the race. I thought or like where I came. Like, am I not?
He wants to
mistaken?
arrest all of us.
Okay.
He gave reasons why he wants to arrest all of us, and you have a very specific other reason, but also we have stuff too. So he was calling you out specifically for that, but
But there's yeah.
but
I just
then
make
also see, I got tricked too, right? I thought it was just you, and so when I started to
Yeah.
walk away, he told me to stop, and I was like, oh, oops, made myself a little too known here.
As the
And they
nights...
leave, right?
I'm sorry.
They
you
leave.
watch... Yeah, they're leaving.
Elias stays put until they start to leave. Okay.
Until they're out of sight, you don't see him move. Stationary and stoic. He finally turns around to face you all. He turns to Ansem and Petra, giving them immediate commands to begin fortifying the barracks. Both of them nodding affirmatively. And you see as Ansem and Petra walks by you without saying a word, as Ansem stares daggers into each one of you as he passes.
Jeez, who killed a fucking clown with that guy? Jesus.
After they leave Georgio, you watch as Elias walks towards you. Well, I guess we all have our sins to bear. Personally, I don't care what you did. I can't really comment. I've done enough in my time to warrant a lifetime of repentance. That's why I'm here. Trying to make something right of this whole situation. I regret what happened to you, but I don't regret for a day trying to end that awful war. Fighting petty nobility. Trading men and women, good men and women for power. No. I don't care about that at all. I was loyal to your father. And I'll be loyal to you one way or another, regardless of what you do. But there's a lot of good men and women in that barrack. I would hope you'd stand beside them. Stand beside your city. I can't ask you to do anything for us, and I won't. But one way or another, you're going to have to do something. As he walks by.
He doesn't stop.
No, he doesn't. You can stop him if you like.
No.
Okay.
No.
He just keeps walking as he's issuing orders to the various individuals. You can all feel the intensity as the sun is beginning to set. As ballista are being positioned on the various corners of the parapet walls, on the towers of the barracks. As night falls, you can see smoldering embers and fires of the districts of the city, now a flattened wasteland. Smoke still thick in the air throughout the next few hours.
Through this time, I would want to talk to Cedric about their religion. I don't think. Do we know? Does Georgio know about what happened with you and when you were a kid?
I don't believe so.
No, I don't think so either. And so I don't think he would be, what's the word? I don't think he would be hesitant or careful about bringing it up. But I think Georgio wants a better understanding of what their goals are and what they're trying to do, as well as how they would treat us if we did get turned over to them, and what maybe, again, same thing, like what kind of leniency they would have for any sort of repentance, or what repenting looks like to them, things like that. So I don't know exactly how the conversation would go, or how far into it we could get before something becomes too upsetting. But at least that's what I would want to start with. Is just asking. I think so. To start with, just how much do you know about that religion?
I mean, quite a bit. Those that are members of the cloth have a general understanding of a lot of different religions, especially those that are of the area.
Yeah, it's close to this. It's close. It's not that different from yours, right? I mean, isn't it just a split off of your religion? Are the teachings close, or are they so far different?
The gods are quite different that those worship, and so the main beliefs and tenets of those religions are going to be different for each individual. By no means would I say that the Sacred Flame and I hold similar beliefs. As you can see, they are very much willing to go ahead and completely raise the city in hopes of finding any sort of salvation through those means. I don't think I know the particulars of the Sacred Flame really, though, or at least I don't know it like me personally.
You would know that the Sacred Flame, the religion of the Sacred Flame, that oftentimes follows the tenets of trying to find the light in the darkest of situations, that it will burn through the temptations of this world, that it will alight the shadow in men's hearts for those who heed its calling. But like oftentimes with religion, you see those, much like any religion, those who follow it with a religious zealotry, and those who follow it as a sort of guidepost mentality.
Mm-hmm.
You've met flamekeepers that are some of the most upstanding citizens of the world. In fact, the flamekeeper of your former home, a beautiful soul, older woman, used to harbor refugees, the sick and wounded, never asking questions of those who needed it. And it was that open-heartedness that allowed for a individual to slip in, a contaminated individual carrying lumps of delirium within themselves, fleeing from other parts of the continent. The Flamekeeper tried their best to overcome this darkness, unsure of what to do. In a time when delirium was less understood, when it didn't even have a name, when it was just seen as some sort of disease, not understood that it came from beyond the stars, an extraterrestrial mineral. But nevertheless, it, for what it can do to people, the greed that it incites in many for its value, it's been demonized by the church, by the regent of Illyria. And from your understanding, Cedric, you understand that Illyria is very much a religious state. Although technically religious figures cannot hold power per the Edicts of Lumen, most understand that the regent of Illyria, the ruling nobility of Illyria, are no more rulers than they are cats and dogs. They're simply there as a puppet to the church. For those who have an understanding of political standing, it's not hard to see that the highest ruling power within Illyria is the head of the Sacred Flame. And that the right hand of that power is the Silver Order Knights.
Mm-hmm.
Tim, a more learned individual yourself, you would understand that...
This guy's fucking stupid. Tim, you're the smart one. You know this.
No, not necessarily. You just... It's a different perspective.
With my 7 intelligence score.
Different perspectives, let's put it that way.
I cast and I know things.
You read a lot. As you are a man of education and
the natural sciences as opposed to the spiritual learning of the world. You know that the very creation of the sacred flame stems from a rebellion of the past. In ancient times of this continent, the land was ruled by sorcerer kings. Powerful, powerful mages that would neither bend nor break, would kill any who opposed them, do horrible things in the pursuit of power. And the very first members of the Sacred Flame seeking refuge from this domination, whom would later overturn these sorcerer kings, would become the very evil that they sought to purge from the world. And in their religious fervor, their desire to prevent the sorcerer kings from ever coming to be again, they would hunt Mageborn for hundreds of years. Innocent children born to magic were stolen away, locked up, and often killed simply for being different. And as you both know, this series of retaliations over the course of hundreds of years eventually led to the creation of the Edicts of Lumen, a document that attempted to balance power among the three great segments of the world: the non-magical nobility, whom are the only ones who can carry political standing in the world, the Amethyst Academy and the Mageborn, given sole custody to protect and to train those who are born to magic. And of course, those with religious standing and religious divine ordainment, also not allowed to carry political standing. But as you both know, these rules are often bent, loosely followed, carefully circumvented at times, and a point of contention often, even though very few would ever be bold enough to outright break said rules for fear of instantaneous retaliation from all parties. These historical events still carry weight among these groups, though. And with this introduction of this fourth entity, this indiscriminate substance that you all now know as delirium, the balance of power has shifted tremendously. There are those that see it as a curse, blight on the world, a cancer to be destroyed at all opportunities. And then there are those who see it as a potential for better things, a potential for great works of magical craft, to create tremendous things to help society.
as you know, Tim, the sheer amount of condensed power within these stones that the Academy seeks to understand at a deeper level. And for those of political standing, they represent potential for wealth, trade, power of commerce. And this balance is ever in flux. Which brings us to this situation we're in now. This area of gray, this area where some deem it as law, others see it as survival of the fittest, and that the law is only governed by those who have power. Nevertheless, as you contemplate these matters amongst yourselves, discussing what could be the outcome of this situation, Cedric, you would know that oftentimes those who are arrested by the Silver Order are taken, in this instance for capital crimes, are taken for trial, either in Lumen or in one of the other major metropolitan cities. And often for offenses such as these, capital crimes, offenses directly against the church, they're often not good outcomes for those accused. Even less for the Mageborn.
Mm-hmm. I would tell Giorgio it's not going to turn out well if we're arrested. Especially for Tim.
Mm-hmm.
And I further say that they're hypocrites and they want to go ahead and destroy the land to kind of make their own religion in the area. That's why they burn down all houses. They try to get rid of any sort of opposing forces in order to go ahead and establish their own belief systems.
Mm-hmm. Well, regardless of what happens to the city, I definitely don't want anything bad to happen to my friends, you know. So.
While you all think about your next actions, I think that's a good time to take a little break. I need to grab some more to drink and use the restroom, so While you guys are kind of contemplating what you'd like to do, discuss amongst yourselves, I'm going to run and use the restroom.
I'm gonna grab a drink too, but I'll be right back. I'm not gonna be more than 30 seconds.
Okay. Shiny, did you catch that? I'm sorry, did you catch that last part about the general outcomes of those accused of crimes against the church?
No, the last thing I remember you saying was talking about the youngins, like the magic adepts, getting that whole spiel.
Okay.
I don't think I caught that part.
Yeah. Long story short, those accused of crimes against the church are often taken for trial to larger major cities, more high profile back to Lumen, specifically the capital city of Illyria. And the outcomes are generally not good, especially for those who are mageborn. But anyway, why don't we go ahead and jump back into things?
So we didn't, unfortunately, we did not get a chance to talk much amongst ourselves.
Oh, okay.
Just so you know, like.
Oh, that's okay.
Talking about that.
Yeah, go ahead and I will let you guys discuss what you want to do and you're welcome to ask any individuals within the barracks for their thoughts, opinions, discuss anything you need to do. And then when you all are ready, after discussing amongst yourselves, we can go ahead and continue accordingly based on your decisions. So I will leave it to you.
I mean, I basically just explained religious things to
Yeah.
Giorgio because he was just generally curious as to what would happen as far as punishment for crimes. And I said that they would probably definitely kill Tim, and probably kill us at the very least. So.
I think knowing that kind of removes that any sort of option from helping them, or like doing something to try and get us out of it,
Yeah, because at the very least it sounds like Elias isn't willing to sell us out for anything.
I agree.
Because we have one relic right now, or one seal right now.
Wait, don't we have two? Isn't the sword one also or no?
Is the sword one?
No, it's not. Okay.
No.
Yeah, because I think we just have the staff because we ended up losing the seal and the phylacteries. I think those are the only ones that we've had so far, right?
Right, okay. I misremember. I thought the sword was one also, so I didn't remember.
So there are the seals of the city, and then there are the relics of St. Vitruvio. One of which is one and the same. One of which falls into both categories, which is the phylactery of St. Vitruvio, which is both a seal of the city and a relic of the saint.
And a relic which got taken from us by the Queen of Thieves, right?
Potentially, yes.
Okay.
What we assume is.
Do we know all five? Can you name the five again for me?
From what you saw on the document and what you already know of the ones that you've seen and or acquired personally, there's of course the inscrutable staff, the Lord Commander's badge that Elias had carried with him up until now.
That's the one I'm missing.
There was the Stewart seal that Cedric had for a short period of time.
Okay, that's the one I'm missing, actually.
The phylactery of St. Vitruvio. There's the other one that you briefly saw in some of the documents was the Spy Master's Signet. And then the last one was the Chancellor's... give me just a moment. I forget the Chancellor's... There's a sixth one. So there's 6 total.
Chancellors.
Give me just a moment. I forget the name.
Chancellor's chastity belt.
The Chancellor's Codpiece.
Gross.
Let's see. Yes, the seals of Drakenheim. Yeah, the Chancellor's seal, I think is what it's called. Hold on, I gotta look it up on D&D Beyond. I have it saved there. But continue while I'm looking this up. What were you guys discussing?
Giving yourself up would easily be a mistake, so we definitely should not do that. And as Cedric said, they will kill us, so I suggest we kill them before that happens.
Yeah.
The Chancellor's Crest is what it's called.
Chancellor's Crest. Okay, thank you.
Mm-hmm.
I'm down for some killing.
Of course you
I'm
are.
like that guy, I can't remember his name. I'm like that guy from fucking Rick and Morty, you know. I'm like, just down for some killing.
Speaking of killing, Chugrulk.
Oh no.
Uh-oh. Your sword knows your ill intents.
No.
Yeah. No.
This,
As you all are discussing this, you see in between directing soldiers and discussing with the various higher ranking hooded lanterns, Elias Drexel approaches you, Chugrulk. You were, I remember you now. You were fighting amongst the irregulars of the mercenaries during the Civil War, weren't you, son?
Yes.
Giltstadt. I remember towards the end of it. There was a rumor going around that there was an intense fighter out of Caspia. Hellaciously long arms. They'd step too close and they'd get cut up. I see it now. You really pissed off that there Duke. Yeah, now I understand. Yeah, he had friends in high places among the clergy. Oftentimes a heavy donator at the expense of the people's taxes. Nevertheless, it's certainly somebody you don't want to cross. I heard you did a number on his guard. Makes sense he would put out a personal bounty against you. I heard it cost him a pretty penny to replace all those men. Fucker. Good on you. Not my room to judge, but long as I'm not having to cross blades with you and you don't turn on my men, you're fine by me.
Appreciate it.
Tim, Cedric, Georgio, what are you all thinking in this time?
I hate these sacred flame people, and I just want them gone.
I'm gonna ask Elias if there's anything that we could do to go ahead and help with the fortification process that they're going through right now. Just see if there's something that our idle hands can do right now.
I mean, we could always use help moving some of these here crates. These ballista bolts need to go up on the various towers. The sooner we can move them up there into position, the less we have to try to run up and down in the case of running out of munitions. We need to fortify the main entrances, the weakest points. We know for a fact that these Illyrians have with them those, what do they call them? Flame lances. Fueled by alchemist fire. A sort of formula that they carry in their backpacks. They're heavily armored, but if you can manage to pierce one with something, makes a hell of a boom. But as I stated, the last time they've learned their lesson over the years. I would imagine they're pretty heavily fortified, and they're not going to show their backs to you. They also tend to ride around on them those heavily armored horses to keep it difficult to pin them down. A simple normal bow generally won't pierce it, but something with a bit more oomph to it might do the trick. Or if you can get one standing still long enough to hit them with a ballista, that works too. Ideally, though, I'd like to bring the fight to them. I mean, we're well fortified here, but if we lose this positioning, we lose a critical point within the city. We lose a place, one of few places we can house this many men away from the haze. Ideally, we take the fight to them and try to break the morale somehow. Generally, and I hate to mention this as it goes against more formal warfare, but having been previously trained amongst Illyrian soldiers in my past life, but if you can take the head off a snake, it's far more likely to die. So if we can take down their commanding officers and break their morale, well, now we have a fighting chance.
Mm-hmm.
You also gotta understand that these are no mere, rough and tumble. These are soldiers. Divinely charged soldiers, nonetheless. Very capable individuals. And backed up by even more divine ordainment, if you understand my drift. Which I assume you do, given that you seem to fight in the same sort of style and seem to have been cut from a similar cloth, if you pardon the pun.
Yeah.
But I myself am a man of the flame, but more importantly, I'm a man of my people and the man of this city. I'll forsake any high power in an instant for the men who stand in front of me right now. The people, these soldiers that serve under me, and the potential of this city mean far more to me than some formless religious iconography. So, yeah, if you're looking to help, start moving some of the bolts up to the towers.
Yeah, of course. I'm gonna go ahead and help.
Tim, Georgio, what are you all doing in this time of contemplation and inner monologue, if you will?
I mean, I'm not really doing a whole lot. I'm just preparing. I mean, I guess I'll give a hand too. I mean, I got no strength, but I mean, I guess I give a hand with Cedric and getting everyone help set up to fortify up while this is all going down. I got nothing else to do.
What Giorgio thinks that Elias doesn't understand is that he hates him so much, and that everything that he tries to do, like any appeal that he makes to any sort of possible authority, or reference to his care for Giorgio or the city, rings hollow, and only makes Giorgio want to help even less. And so every time he comes back and he says something, or like the stuff that he was saying when he walked by, or when he came by before it started, like if Elias Drexel didn't say anything and like these people started burning houses down, we probably would have helped. But when he came up and he started talking, and he was like, oh, like all of this about the city, and you could be, like you might be able to do something, and of anybody, you have the most authority here, blah blah blah. Like it just makes Giorgio like Giorgio is considering. The reason he's asking about the religion stuff is because in character was considering turning himself in, air quotes, repenting for his sins and then helping them. Like, if it meant not, but like, again, learning that, well, they're definitely going to kill Tim, and there's not a way that we can convince them to forget about the bounty on Chugrulk. Well, okay, well, now that's not an option. But, like, if there was a way to, and then it probably wouldn't even work anyway, just because they have also a reason to to arrest me and whatever. So it's like, well, probably not. But like that's how far Giorgio feels pushed, I guess, because of the way that Elias Drexel refuses to acknowledge the fact that he lied consistently for a considerable amount of time, and basically tricked. Is how Giorgio feels he was tricked into helping for all these things, because the promise was, I'll do anything I can to help you figure out what happened to your mother, when he's known the whole time exactly what happened. Whether it was his fault, no. I mean, does Giorgio think that he's got something to do with it? Yeah, but probably not realistically, right? But like, there's been acknowledgement of that, right? And so I think that every time he's like, oh, the city, the whatever, it's like, no, you lied and you squeezed out a bunch of goodwill out of me for weeks when we first got here, because I was hoping that, because the only thing that Giorgio cares about is finding out, and now at this point, right, getting revenge over the death of his mother. So it's like, anything that Elias Drexel wants at this point, I think Giorgio to basically kind of to steal back that goodwill, wants it all to fail. So I don't think I will. I think that I will have, like, Giorgio is going to help, but not until Elias leaves. like being a little bit petty about it, right? Like if Elias is watching, I'm not helping, and whenever Elias walks away to go do something else, all right, now I'm going to start helping, because I don't want my friends to die.
Where's Giorgio right now in the barracks?
Where I think probably in like the common area where everyone was, like when people started to help, but just sitting there.
You notice right now where you sit right now in what's essentially the mess hall.
Mm-hmm.
It's fairly empty. You see a cook prepping some of the various buildings. Doesn't pay you much mind. In fact, it's essentially silent other than that sort of white noise of him working to fortify that particular building. It's not until you hear one of the doors swing open as the voice of Ansem calls out to that particular hooded lantern. We need you over here now! Who cares about that? Get over to the walls. This will all be fodder if those break. And as he's saying this, he turns and spots you. I know, he's a fucking prick.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
He's lied about a lot of things in life. Were this still Drakenheim, he'd probably face military tribunal, possibly even death, for what he did. Patricide. Lies against the state. Treason. Being a shitty father. But it's better than letting us die in the street. I'll be honest. I'm not trying to speak highly for him.
Good point. You made a good point. Probably enough to get Georgia to get up and go.
I don't have to like him. I don't have to like a lot of people. But I know they'll stand and fight beside me. There's no place else I can really go. There's no place where Petra can go. This is it. We'd be dead on the streets. We wouldn't be here right now. So. Church wouldn't take us in. Well, didn't have enough to spare at the time. We came here, begged, borrowed, resorted to stealing. When he picked us up, almost picked his pocket. So close, so close.
What stopped you?
Yeah.
Change your mind?
When you don't know, when you don't eat for 4 days, your stomach tends to grumble. He noticed it. But, yeah, he lied a lot. But he tried to do the right thing. Unfortunately, it came with some consequences. He made deals with the wrong people.
Yeah.
Trying to do the right thing. If you really are his kid, I don't really care. I'll be honest. I always thought the king was a bit of an ass.
Mm-hmm.
Didn't do anything for me and my sister. Why should I care? The only one who really did was Elias, so that's why I'm here. He's the only one who really even tried. So. I'm not saying he's perfect. I'm not saying any of us are. Heard you stole from a chapel. I honestly don't care, but, you know. In hindsight, probably not the best move. Silver Order doesn't really appreciate that.
That's what we learned.
I heard your buddy's a pretty good fighter, though. I mean, to get a $12,000 bounty or $12,000 coin bounty on your head, you really got to piss somebody off.
Yeah. Look, the number. I'm not gonna say the number is not tempting.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, he's a good guy. He's trying. I guess I get it.
When he says he's going to do something.
Not always.
It takes him some time, I'll be honest, but he may not get to it the way you think, but he says he's going to do something. He's going to do it. He said he was going to try to take this city, and he's still here.
Yeah.
It's going to take him some time, but he's still here. Lesser commanders gave up a long time ago.
Yeah.
You ever fought a paladin? Oh, yeah, you did.
Yep.
Never mind.
Sure did. That's kind of why we're here.
I heard they hit really hard.
They sure do. Hard to explain other than just yep. Yeah, they do.
really slow. I heard. Which means you can
In the
hit them
mode.
harder.
That's true too.
Anyway.
Let's go.
Yeah. As you follow Ansem out of the mess hall, you can see everyone is darting about. You can hear cries from Petra up on the parapet walls. At this point in time, it's y'all's choice. You can choose to exit the walls of the barracks and take the fight to the Silver Order with a company of urban rangers, or you can choose to fight here in the barracks. There are pros and cons to each.
Wait, what was the first option again?
You can choose to fight outside the barracks with a contingent of urban rangers. Or you can choose to try to defend the barracks from assault. There are pros and cons to each situation. And you don't have to make the decision now, because we're coming up on the 3-hour mark here. So I think this might be probably a good stopping point, and you guys can decide what you want to do before our next session.
That's
Okay.
I'll
That
say
sounds like
I
a
have-
plan.
I have plenty of time if we wanted to keep playing.
I mean,
Well, we could,
Who knows? I don't know if
depending
you guys-
on what you guys choose, but the other option I haven't really set up. So-
yeah, no, I mean, also, it's like, it's Saturday, I
Yeah.
gotta do shit, I'm not gonna lie.
Because I'm not going to lie, you guys didn't do exactly what I thought, so I've been winging a lot of this shit.
No.
No bullshit, I've been winging a lot tonight.
Hey,
Yeah.
doing well.
Because I didn't know.
You didn't think we'd let it burn down.
No, I just
No,
didn't
you're
know if you would, how you would go about it. One way or another, the Silver Order going to do what the Silver Order going to do.
Sure.
How you choose to react is entirely up to you.
Yeah.
No, I love this right now. This is amazing.
I like the decision. I think, yeah, like, I definitely don't want to, like, make the decision hastily. I'm, like, thinking that this is going to be interesting, like, depending on where we go. But, man.
No, it's good because that, I liked the being able to give you guys some exposition and some background,
Yeah.
expose some old war wounds in various places, and discuss some lore, and as well as some motivations of various people, and some other things that I really got to see tonight that I'm not going to talk about because it'll spoil. Amongst characters, player characters in specific, and I won't say anything more than that. But yeah, it was but yeah, it's entirely up to you guys. You can make the decision now amongst yourselves, or you can take some more time and think about it. I just say we're coming up on the 3-hour mark.
Yep.
So I think that's probably a good stopping point. Because otherwise
Yeah,
we'll be like midway
yeah.
through some other heavy stuff, and
Yeah, I was gonna say I've got a call soon anyway, so it probably makes more sense to stop before we decide if that's good with everyone else.
right.
Yeah, that's cool with me.
I do think just without really getting into it, like you said, there's pros and cons for each. I do think that I would lean towards going out and fighting.
Yeah, I'm kind of thinking the same thing too.
Thank God you said that.
I feel like I mean, like there's like close quarters is good specifically for what I do, right? And I think that with the reach that Chugrulk has and some of the AoE stuff that we have, we can catch a lot of people with some weird stuff. But I just think that
I
having
was
more
gonna
space.
vote for the inside, but I mean, I'm down for like, you know.
Yeah, so like I think that you and I specifically are probably geared better towards inside, but they're geared better towards outside.
I mean, also, like I said, like I'm also like inclined to say that it's kind of like I like this is just an assumption. I'm not going to say, and I don't want to ask. Like, but I'm assuming it's going to sway the story, like whether we go inside or whether we go outside. Like, you know, so I'm like I just feeling that the inside was the play, but that's just again.
It won't necessarily change. Well, depending on what happens, things can change. But the circumstances of what could happen will change depending on the location.
Yeah.
Right. No, I thought like I was gonna say I didn't want to like in my eyes like just in case it was a like you know choose your own path style of thing. I feel like the inside was the play to go. But yeah, it also has strategic like benefits for you and I, as you said.
But I think
yeah, go ahead.
I think we play better with range generally just because of the our two casters are and because I have the Psionic Warrior stuff that specifically doesn't work with the unarmed strikes that I do. And so like a lot of like the opening and like me being able now that I have these boots of speed, which I guess I I guess we would have had to decide before. Never mind. Knowing like so I think that being outside is better. Also because Tim has this cool fucking staff that does some cool fucking shit that I want to see. So like kind of makes me want to just be out there anyway, where he has room to kind of play with it. I don't know. That is a big incentive. I think that's helping me lean that way. But again, there's a lot more to talk about than just that.
Yeah, as I said, there's pros and cons to both situations. Which I don't want to sway your decision making by telling you exactly what each entails. So I'll let you. You don't have to make the decision now, or you can choose to make the decision now. I'll prepare both situations. Unless you want to make it easier on me and tell me where you want to go now. And that way I may not have to do any extra work.
Yeah, I mean, do we have I think you're probably the one that has to go first before anybody else. How much time do you have?
I was hoping like probably like 20 minutes, but like
I think there's plenty of time to talk about this and make a decision at least before just to wrap up the session, make a decision, and then the next time we play.
I agree with you guys. If we're all like if we're 3-1, like, and I'm only soft on the inside thing, I feel like definitely we can go outside. Like I feel like that's the play. If everybody's feeling that, I'm cool going outside.
Mm-hmm.
So
I'm curious what you I think you're talking about inside being you feel like fighting inside is better.
Fighting at the
like
barracks.
The story. Inside the barracks would be better for the story. What are you anticipating? I'm curious what you think.
No, sorry, I was just like, I just thought like when I was, I guess I just figured it figured more like we might save more people if we were like inside a place rather than just like leaving that and then just going outside, I guess. Like, you know, I just didn't want to all of a sudden say like, you know, again, just this is not at all what I'm assuming is going to be the case, but all of a sudden I didn't want to be like, all right, we decide we're going outside, and then it was like, oh, yep, like 10
barracks
people
are
just
overrun
died because
like all these new characters. No, it's absolutely like that's entirely valid, and it's like I don't think that's even wrong. Like you're downplaying that possibility, and I don't want you to, because I think that's definitely something to consider. It's like if we leave here, who stays behind and who is at risk of not being able to be personally protected by us?
Yeah, they could be vice versa. Though. We could be like, oh, we'd fight inside, and then they're like, oh, because you didn't protect the flank, like, you know, like you guys are getting fucking overrun from the out. Yeah,
legitimate actually will make a difference in how much I care one way or the other. Where is Elias Drexel going to be?
I'm sorry. I apologize. I was reading something. Go ahead.
You're fine. Where is Elias Drexel going to be? Is he going to be staying with the barracks to defend that personally, or is he going to be going out to take on...
That's up to y'all. I mean,
Oh, we're also deciding for him?
You're deciding
He's
how
with
you
us.
want to
He's with
treat
us.
this. It's
Right.
Okay.
depending on how you discuss it with various NPCs and
Uh-huh.
you know,
True,
what the
true.
circumstances are and what you choose to do. You know, they may or may not come along. It just depends on what the circumstances are discussed. So I'm letting you all sort of plan how you want to do this because you're kind of the center of this focus.
Yeah.
As the ones who have essentially drawn the ire of the Silver Order.
Yeah.
As you've kind of understood that this whole thing was partially what they planned to do anyway, but more so to, you know, as an inflammatory act at the same time.
Right. I mean, so how far out could we even go to like meet them? Because they've been burning, like kind of moving up to the barracks, right?
Let me go ahead and pull up the map real quick and I can show you the specific areas that we're discussing here. So, you all are here at number 9 at the Hooded Lanterns Barracks. You saw that along this road here between Queen's Park Garden, basically equidistant between the garden and number 15, which is the market squares.
Okay.
And then you saw another group of fires down here where it says Temple Ward, southeast of the main cathedral at 11. And then the last set you saw was heading in this area here, north of the cathedral, right at the end of where it says Middle Ward. And they were heading up that street. They were all heading sort of, with the exception of maybe this group, were all heading kind of towards the barracks. Like kind of this way and this way. And it was this group here. You kind of assume that based on the proximity and the general direction that's probably where that individual, this representative of the Silver Order, had come from, just given the proximity. Does that make sense to you all?
Yeah.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm fine outside, more in the play. And I think we just take the sniper group or whatever that they're talking about. I don't think we need anyone else with us. I think we can handle it on our own.
What is the consensus? So that's one person stating to leave out of the barracks.
Yeah, I'm done out. I'm down to leave out.
Yeah. Agreed. It seems like that's kind of the tactic that
Yeah.
they were going to do anyways.
I felt like that was our play before, so I feel like we stick to our guns, you know?
Okay. Well, thankfully, that's the one I already prepared, so...
Let's go!
Oh,
You're
thank
welcome.
God. I'm not gonna lie, I
You
was
know,
like,
guys,
fuck.
I'm starting to think that maybe it'd be nice if we just stay in. They have
Fuck no.
ballistas and stuff. Like,
Fuck no.
Toxic.
Well, anyway. With that said, and we have a little bit of time here, so I'll go ahead and leave you guys on a little bit of cliffhanger here.
Mhm.
Do you choose to discuss with either Ansem, Petra, or Elias about accompanying you and the Urban Ranger Sniper Brigade? Or do you just choose to have the rooftop Urban Rangers with you? It'll be a total of 12 Urban Rangers that you can call in at various times to basically act as a lair action at your discretion. And I'll kind of calculate a balanced procedure there, but they'll have various positions around the site. And you can choose to call in a some assistance as needed at your choice. And you can also discuss with those other 3 NPCs if you'd like any of them to accompany you as well. But they may not necessarily be able to or desire to given the circumstances. It's your... So just keep that in mind. And from there, I'll show you where you all stand. Or you can think about it before the next session and we can end here. It's your choice. And you can discuss amongst yourselves what you want to do, and we can start from there on the next session. It's your choice if you're not completely certain of what you want to do yet.
Yeah, I thought maybe we leave it.
Yeah,
Unless you guys-
no, I think that's fine. I think it's good to start the next session figuring out how you want to do it. I think that's good.
Okay.
Yeah, I feel like that's a vibe.
That'll work for me.
Okay. Well, with that, as you decide to take up arms against this incursion force of Silver Order Knights that have called for your arrest at the gates of the Hooded Lanterns barracks after taking up a scorched earth policy in the heart of the city of Drakenheim. We will pick that up next time, and we will see where things take us from there.